Welcome to the Hit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Joy Rios, and we are here at Health 2025 in Vegas. And I'm very excited to speak with today's guest because she's an old friend and she's a friend of the show. So I want to take a moment to just acknowledge, I love our community, and I love that the relationships that we've built through Hit Like a Girl have basically lasted years now. I believe the first time we spoke, it was 2020, I think.
It was actually before that. Hi, everybody. I'm Aditi Joshi. We met at HIMSS. I think it was 2019, actually.
Okay.
And that was the first time I was on your podcast.
Right. Well, I have just been so impressed by all of your work. And so I kind of want to give a little bit of some foundational level of who you are and the amazing contribution that you have given to the health industry. And basically just acknowledge Dr. Aditi Joshi with us today. I mean, you basically helped bring telemedicine and the framework of telemedicine to the US and beyond. You've written a book since the last time that we've spoken. You've moved to Paris and started your life in a new chapter, which is something I'm very excited by and feel camaraderie to. And you also started a new startup in AI. You are highly accomplished, and I'm just so grateful that we get to swim in the same waters.
I feel the same way. I love the work that you do to bring up our voices. And I just think back to, you're right, when I met you, a lot has happened then. We were just starting out with telemedicine. It wasn't everywhere. And just look at how much and how far it's come. Digital health, our conversation. So happy to be back here.
What are the things that you're the most proud of? Because you made big impacts. So let's acknowledge them.
Oh my gosh. What a great question. How come no one has ever asked me this? And I've never even thought about it. I will say what I think that I find the most gratifying to myself is just learning how much telemedicine has actually helped patients, especially when I hear ones that couldn't get access to care or they felt that unsafe where they were going. I think those have been very personally the most gratifying. And then when I hear my colleagues in general that come to me and they say, oh, I now understand how to do this and why it's important and why it's something that I want to offer and do for my patients as well as for myself, that also is really big for me. And those are all the more individual personal goals. And then I think probably personally, as well, in a larger sense, is just being able to really state that I really feel like I was able to learn so much and bring so much with other people. And there's so much that we can do with technology. And I'm really excited about that as well. So I feel like that really just...
So before we get on to your new venture, I do want to talk about the global influence in consulting that you've been doing. And how has it been shifting from being Chicago-based to being Paris-based? I'm sure many people are jealous.
It was such a natural move that, yes, you're right, though, but everybody, and it's funny because every time I go to conferences, especially digital health, everybody remembers that I live in Paris, which I moved to 3 years ago. So it came about really just because I quit my hospital job, my last job at Jefferson, and I was really East Coast based for a long time. I grew up in Chicago, and I just went there for a trip and really loved it. And it was a real testament to how you can really change your life very quickly, and just making the decision to do it can really change everything for you. And it really helped me make more informed choices. It's actually even informed how I build businesses and how I think about healthcare because it gives you a new perspective. And so, yeah, I love it. I love Paris, really love the French community. I have learned a lot more about the digital health and healthcare communities in Europe as well.
Yeah. One thing so I live in Mexico and we can kind of relate on at least not living in the US full time. And I feel like a lot of what I have been doing over the last several years is unlearning a lot about what I have been taught in the US. I'm sure that resonates to a degree. Can you think about healthcare related, some of the things that you've unlearned since you moved to Paris?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So for one, I'm an emergency medicine doctor and I practiced for a very long time, aside from the telemedicine as well. But, everything is on fire when you're in the emergency department, and rightly so. That's what you're supposed to be doing, right? Everything, you have to make sure people aren't dying, they're sick, and you want to make sure that you're taking care of it. But I also think within our startup culture, our business culture in the US, there is this whole idea that we have to hustle all the time. Everything has to be done right away. And then moving away put me in perspective that it doesn't actually have to be like that. Unless something is actually on fire, you don't need to treat it like it's on fire. You can just take steps and make sure you're building in a way that's not only grounding and sustainable for your business and your company and your healthcare system, but also for yourself. Because if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to continue.
We don't have forever energy to keep going. I know that I'm starting to feel older and you're just like, I don't have the same energy that I had 10 years ago. And so the culture of just being hustling all the time is so built into us. And it's culturally, I'm sure it's different. And so it's not just on a personal level, but on a systemic level. And that shows up.
You mean in France?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So people they'll reply to emails when they can in the evenings, and you go out. And this is famous about French, and people say this all the time, but it is very true. They don't necessarily talk about work. In fact, I have some really great friends that I've made there, and I sort of know what they do, but I don't actually really know what they do, right? And then, of course, I have my digital health network, but it's not the same thing. Like that to me tends to be, we talk about work a lot more, but yeah, but even then, you'll have conversations about everything else as well. It reminds you of what's important and that we're multifaceted beings. We're not just work.
So any hobbies that you've picked up since, if you have more time?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've picked up more hobbies. I think I just have time for the ones that I love, which is I spend more time, like we were talking about nature, right? And I know you live right by the water and being able to really make that part of your life. So I really actually do more things that's good for the mental health. I like take walks. I make sure that I spend time with people. So I'm not just sitting there in my apartment, seeing patients over video like I used to, or building and things. And I think that's really helped. I have gotten a lot more into wine. I will say that. It rubs off on.
That's fair. That seems fair. And it's actually, or any champagne specifically from the region?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Champagne only.
Well, tell me about, so you've gotten involved in AI and it's a shift from telemedicine over to AI, which everybody's doing. And of course they're integrated, but like, what is taking up your time? What is the base of this new organization, and where do you anticipate it will be going?
Absolutely. Part of it is, and we've talked about this a lot, but just how that a lot of like the barriers I faced when building telemedicine in the beginning was everything, payment and patients not understanding. We didn't have the right technology, or no one knew the technology, and regulations were not there. And so we figured out a lot of that. But I still say that we still have an issue with how we get physicians, clinicians to use it successfully. And so the new organization is really, how do we bridge that and make it so that it's palatable? And I believe that with this AI right now, because we have AI in the mix, like it is a very crucial question, because clinicians, physicians don't trust it. We don't have the regulations around it. But I think there's a lot to say about how we have the conversations about AI. And I'll just tell you, just walking around here, I've suspected it, but we're hearing a lot about ambient AI, for example. But I'll tell you, a lot of the doctors, when I speak to them, they're like, yeah, no, this is a problem with it. I see this. So we just don't use it for this reason or this reason. And that has to come back into the conversation we talk about it.
Well, and those are legit reasons. So what are some of those reasons? And I'm sure that they are legit.
Yeah. So some of them are, well, when I have a note that is created, I still have to go in and edit it, because I need to make sure that it's written in a way that is, I'll just say it, we have like a medical legal problem here. And so a lot of our notes are written so that we have to really give details on why we decided to do something so that we're protected. And also like to be able to describe. And so because of that, like a lot of them say, yeah, I don't want to use it because it actually doesn't save me time. I still got to go back and edit it. So I might as well just dictate or just protect it myself. And that, like, an administrator can buy it for you. But I mean, if a doctor says, yeah, this is not saving me time, there's no point. And so the second one also that I've heard from a different type of specialty is that it's just causing notes to become bigger without more information. And it's harder to parse through that. And surgeons especially do not have time for it. They don't like it.
Right. They don't necessarily want more reading.
No, they definitely don't want more reading.
Well, okay, so the AI is a little everywhere, so it's sort of ambiguous in a way. So in what way, in what capacity are you going to be working with it and moving it through?
So yes, so I have like 2 projects from 2 companies now, actually. So that one is going to be the clinician adoption, but I am going to be using AI for education in like extended reality. And the whole idea behind that is we've been talking about extended reality for a while and how it improves engagement for medical education, but any type of education that's out there. But now that we have AI as a backend, we can actually do it in a manner that will actually help people really feel like they can build it out. So professors can build it out. Med ed educators can build it out for simulation cases. So that's what we're going to use AI for in that one. And
I've heard some great virtual reality use cases for simulations. And a lot of it has to do with emergencies where like, okay, you don't necessarily want a real emergency to practice on. You want to be able to simulate that over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I had that because I do learn, and we do learn it, but it's not the safest way to learn it. And it's something that it's a rite of passage. We all have things that are really scary. And I'll say two things that we can talk about in general. It's like there's a procedure that you have to learn. That's a little bit harder to do in a VR situation, maybe extended reality eventually. But even more poignant is the fact that you have to stay calm when this happens, and that you can do in an immersive environment because your brain actually reacts to what it's seeing, feels it. And so you have to learn how to be calm in situations there.
I've shared this with you, but I am on a board for a company that does medical education, and they use, it's basically like a virtual patient that basically as a student, I would get to practice interacting with a patient. And so that way it's like, oh, this person is presenting for whatever reason. And today we're practicing, the front end reception area, making sure that they are, intake, that they've got their intake well. And like every single process can be put down into smaller chunks and being able to practice it, which is really great. And then as an individual, being able to interact with it, it records everything that I'm saying word for word, and it'll tell you, gives you the score, tells you okay, here's what you missed, here's what you could have done better, or here's where you did fantastic, and all these different categories. And honestly, I think there should be more of that. It's actually a really safe environment to be able to learn all kinds of information.
God, I love that testimonial. That's exactly what you want, right? So people can actually learn it on themselves and feels like a real, and let's be honest, as well as I do, that it doesn't really look exactly real, but it's okay.
Yeah,
you feel
it. It's their practice scenario, and it's fine. But it's also really interesting to see what they come up with because they are responding to you. It's not necessarily a script. And so they're hearing and responding, and the give and the take and whatever stories that they were either prompted to tell. It's really fascinating. So I can imagine that there is a huge world of a need for more and more of that.
I think so. And it's going to be really interesting to see it because people ask me this a lot, and maybe you too, we don't want to really isolate people more than we already do with, ChatGPT and people just having their friends on AI, and you could live in your headset. And I always think to myself too that, that's not the goal. And really in XR or VR, you cannot be in there longer than 30 minutes at all. It's not comfortable. So hopefully that will help some of that fear. And maybe that'll be a reason that people will try to connect in person again.
Well, it seems like you are a really good person to bring this to life and let it grow because you already have the playbook with telemedicine. And I just feel like it has gotten so far that what a great way to apply your skill set and to do more good and make more of an impact.
Thank you for saying that. I hope so. And it's funny because it's like we're talking about changing your life in any way. And yeah, it just feels like I'm just another step forward.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Joy. Hey, what would you do?
Well, it's been, the last podcast I recorded was about taking a break. And this is my first time back behind the mic since then. It's been a year. So thank you for being my comeback.
Oh, thank you for having me be your first guest back.
Well, thank you for the time. If people want to follow your journey, where should they get in touch with you? And also if they want to support your mission and get involved in your new organization.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. I post a lot on there. My company is called ardexia.io. So you can check us out and see what we're doing. And yeah, please reach out with any questions or anything that you have to say about it. I'm always open to hear it.
I am going to keep watching. We'll check back in another time.
I look forward to it.
All right, great. Thanks for listening. You can learn more about us or this guest by going to our website or visiting us on any of the socials with the handle HitLikeAGirlPod. Thanks again. See you soon. Again, thank you so much for listening to the Hit Like a Girl podcast. I am truly grateful for you, and I'm wondering if you could do me a quick favor. Would you be willing to follow or subscribe to this podcast, or maybe leave us a rating or review? Or if you're feeling extra generous, would you share this episode on your Instagram stories or with a friend? All of those things help us podcasters out so much. I'm the show's host, Joy Rios, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. You can learn more about us or this guest by going to our website or visiting us on any of the socials with the handle Hit Like a Girl Pod. Thanks again. See you soon. Again, thank you so much for listening to the Hit Like a Girl podcast. I am truly grateful for you, and I'm wondering if you could do me a quick favor. Would you be willing to follow or subscribe to this podcast, or maybe leave us a rating or review? Or if you're feeling extra generous, would you share this episode on your Instagram stories or with a friend? All of those things help us podcasters out so much. I'm the show's host, Joy Rios, and I'll see you next time.